What is good, Commanders fans? Quick video here. The Washington Commanders have signed cornerback Noah Igbinoghene. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. Source confirmed first by John Kime. Just look at some of his background. He was a 2020 first-round pick. Cornerback / special teams guy. You look at the Giants game, he had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown on Sunday Night Football when the Cowboys beat the Giants like 40-0 or something like that. He also had a game-sealing interception with the Dolphins against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. So it looks like he does a lot of productive things under the lights in big primetime games. Of course, the familiarity with Dan Quinn, another Cowmander or Comboy or Washington, whatever you want to call it. The Dan Quinn connection continues. And the Cowboys traded Kelvin Joseph for Noah I, who went to Auburn University. Sorry, I just don't have his last name accurately. I'm not able to accurately pronounce it. I am going to get the name down for sure. Of course, when he gets in the games, preseason games, whatever, regular season games, I'm definitely going to have his name down pat by then, or really by OTAs and whatever stuff, minicamp that's coming up. I'll definitely have his name down pat for sure. But yeah, there's the familiarity there. He was a former first-round pick. Went to Auburn University, was a wide receiver at Auburn, then transitioned to cornerback, kind of like Quentin Dunbar back in the day. A lot of guys have done that, transfer from a wide receiver, transition from a wide receiver to a corner. Coming out, a lot of people say he was raw. He was the 30th pick of the draft. Not going to call him a bust, but a lot of Dolphins fans have called him a bust. They declined his fifth-year option. And then they kind of did a swap because Kelvin Joseph didn't work out for the Cowboys either. He was like the second-round pick of the draft, or second-round pick for the Cowboys. It was kind of like trading a bust for a bust, or a guy that didn't work out for each team. They just did a swap last year in the offseason. And Noah has been, for the most part, a special teams guy. You look at some of his better games with the Dolphins. He had a really good game against the Vikings where he went up against Adam Thielen. I know that's years ago when Adam Thielen was on the Vikings, but those are some of the positive things that you can really look at in Noah in the past couple of years. Ran a 4.48 40-yard dash. Coming out, ran track and field at Auburn University, and he had 2 kick return touchdowns on special teams at Auburn University. So he possibly could be a kick returner here for the Washington Commanders coming up. But yeah, just looking at some of the write-up about Noah here. Let me look at some of my notes about Noah too. And just look at the snap count. He just hasn't played much. So there's not much to really go on here for him, but he's a man coverage corner coming out, more of a press man guy. The write-up on him is that he's not the most athletic guy. I guess they're just talking about really his first step because he ran track and field, so he's supposed to be a fast guy. But like I said, he had a block kick return against the Giants. Wide receiver in college, talked about that. You look at some of the snap count that he had last year with Dallas: 25 snaps, 8% of the snaps, 77 special team snaps though, and he played in 61% of special team snaps, and played in 5 games. So let's see how many games he played in last year. Just looking at some of his stats here and some of his numbers. He played in 5 games, only 5 games last year, 9 games in 2022. 7 games and 1 start in 2021, 16 games and 2 starts in 2020, 2 pass deflections, 13 tackles as well. So didn't put up big numbers, but as you look at some of his advanced numbers, he had a really bad rookie season, 16 games, gave up 3 touchdowns and 135.3 quarterback rating, which is pretty bad, and a 23.5 missed tackle percentage rate, which is pretty darn awful. So he wasn't able to tackle, and he wasn't able to cover his rookie season. 2021, 129.4 quarterback rating allowed and 14.3 missed tackle percentage rate, which is not good at all. Again, it's better than 23%, but not great. And then 9.1 in 2022, and then only played in 9 games. So you look at the snap count over the years, it just went down and down and down. It got lower and lower. 287 snaps in 2020, 78 snaps in 2021, and 238 in 2022. So it went back up in 2022, and then it went down with the Cowboys in 2023, as they had Trayvon Diggs, they had Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, Jordan Lewis. So they kind of had their cornerback room locked up. Deron Bland as well. So they kind of had somewhat of a deep corner room, but at the same time, Trayvon Diggs got injured and he still didn't get many snaps. So that kind of tells you what Dan Quinn thought about him. But he's being brought over here for special teams. Now, one thing that I will say about Adam Peters and kind of how he's handled the cornerback position as far as free agency. This is the only cornerback we signing that we made in free agency so far. Noah's 5'10", 198 pounds. You look at some of the good things they say in his write-up for the draft. Very strong, very physical, explosive athleticism. Tremendously competitive with outstanding practice habits. Treats press jam like a sparring session, so he's more of a press man cover. Corner, like I said, very raw with just 2 years playing the position. Lacks natural footwork and fluidity in space. Inconsistent mirroring, release, and timing up his opening. Slow to sort what he sees from off coverage. So those are some of the write-ups about Noah. So what I will say about Adam Peters, just kind of critiquing him a little bit, not really giving him a hard time, but it's just objective thinking here. I did want to see him attack the cornerback position a little bit more in free agency. I'm not saying go out there and trade for L'Jarius Sneed or go out here and sign some big name free agents and whatnot. They were interested in Isaac Yiadom. He got signed, so they missed out on him. But just looking at this cornerback room right now, it's Ben St. Juste. I mean, and I get it. We have the draft. We have, 2 third-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a first. He may parlay those and move up in the first round. I will say cornerback and left tackles are 2 big, major needs. They're 2 major needs that were not addressed. And I think at least, and free agency's not done yet. You can still go out there and sign a left tackle. If he starts a rookie at left tackle, I trust him. I believe in whatever decision he makes. I just feel like he should have got a veteran in there at the left tackle position. Cornelius Lucas, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. He's a free agent. I'm not sure if anybody signed him yet. But yeah, I just feel like, especially cutting Charles Leno, I wasn't banging on the table to keep Charles Leno. I was not, and I am not. And they still could possibly bring him back later on. I highly doubt they do that. But I do think for a young rookie quarterback, whether it's Jaden Daniels or Drake May, I do think I'd rather have a veteran left tackle. But if they want to move up in the first round and get a left tackle and start him as a rookie, I trust Adam Peters and I trust the process. I do think we need another corner. Emmanuel Forbes, Ben St. Juste. You let Kendall Fuller walk. And he signed a reasonable deal with the Dolphins. I wouldn't have minded bringing him back. But they have not signed a legitimate starting corner yet. And I don't want to have, personally, I'm just, Emmanuel Forbes, he has a long way to go. Ben St. Juste is just way too slow. Forbes has a long way to go. And Ben St. Juste is way too slow. He just gets cooked. Guys running by. Jalen Hyatt from the Giants ran by him. Tyler Lockett was cooking him. DK Metcalf was cooking Ben St. Juste. A lot of people took turns of cooking Ben St. Juste last year. It was what it was last year with Ben St. Juste. And he had a lot of pass interferences he had. There were some pass interferences that he got away with, too. So my biggest concerns right now is that cornerback room and the left tackle room. Those are some concerns for me for sure. And I want to see how Adam Peters attacks that, rather in the draft or later on, bargain bin shopping, gets another left tackle. So those are my concerns a little bit. All right, let's talk a little bit about Greg Newsome. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because there's nothing really concrete about it. Just heard some murmurs and rumors and stuff like that. But, I think he's a solid player. He got cooked in that Texans game. He was getting beat really badly. Former first-round pick out of Northwestern. More of a zone cover corner. Had a pick 6 against the Ravens. Had a really, really good game against the Ravens. Was a part of a really good defense with the Browns. There's like a little bit of smoke, but nothing really confirmed at all about this Greg Newsome stuff. So not going to talk about it too much, but it's just in the air. So let's see if it happens. I have no idea whether it's going to happen or not. Two interceptions, 34 yards for 34 yards, and had that pick 6 against the Ravens. And they already have Denzel Ward. They have another corner that's kind of taking his spot. He played in the slot. He doesn't want to play in the slot. He requested a trade last year. And now there's smoke again about him being traded. There were some comments that he made after getting cooked in that Texans game that a lot of people didn't like. A lot of Browns fans didn't like. A lot of people didn't like the comments that he made after the Texans game. I'm going to see if I can find the comments that he made after the Texans game here that a lot of people didn't like for sure. He said, "We didn't show up today." Yeah, I can't really find it, but I remember there was some where they didn't like what he said at all. And CJ Stroud's a good quarterback. The Texans have a good team as well. And, so, I mean, he's not the only one that got cooked by the Texans. But, I think he's somebody to take a look at. But as far as like giving up a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, I'm not really banging on the table for that at all. He's more like a CB3 at this point on the Browns. I mean, he'd be like cornerback 2 to cornerback 1 easily. Like day 1, he would be that. I do want to look at some of his stats and numbers here. Then I'll probably wrap it up. I do want to give a grade though for free agency. I'm going to do that in my next video. And so let's see here. He played in 14 games, 13 starts, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Look at some of his advanced numbers. 56% completion percentage allowed, which is not bad at all. 74.8 quarterback rating allowed as well, which is pretty solid. Pretty solid numbers there last year. So he had a solid year last year, 14 games, 13 starts. So we'll see what happens there. But I do they need to do something at the cornerback position. I get there's the draft, but I'd rather have at least one veteran. I know Stephon Gilmore is out there. That's somebody I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Quinn signed him. And I see some people complaining a little bit about Dan Quinn making similar stuff to doing similar stuff like Ron Rivera. And he's not the one signing players. It's Adam Peters, a bunch of Cowboys guys and stuff like that, kind of like former Panthers. But these guys are, I feel like they're just better than what we signed with the former Panthers guys. And you actually got a lot of outside guys with Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner as well, guys who've been productive. It's not like we're signing 2015 Super Bowl Cam Newton run Norwell and Trey Turner, guys from that team, and Thomas Davis, guys who are just way past their prime. It's not like we're doing that. So that's one difference there between the Ron Rivera era and what Adam Peters and Dan Quinn is doing. That's a big difference in my opinion from what they've done so far. So I do want to get into that a little bit in a separate video about the grades and stuff like that. Just kind of have an analysis and be objective about different things. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. I will be on Rio Robinson's show tomorrow night at 8:30. That should be a lot of fun. It should be a blast with Louis T and Rico. Street Scores, of course. That's all my guy Rio. We'll go back and forth with John Kime a little bit over the Greg Newsome news or stuff that's been coming out. So we'll see what transpires in that. But yeah, definitely tune into that. Rio's my guy, Louis my guy, and Street Score's my guy too. So shout out to Rio. So it should be a lot of fun. So all right, you guys, Health Commanders. Peace. Oh, and Justin Fields being traded too. So that honestly, Caleb Williams is getting drafted by the Bears, and that's a fact. Like I never got caught up in that we're gonna trade up to pick 1 and all that stuff. I never even thought that there was a percent. I thought there was a 0.0009% chance of us trading up to pick number 1 to get Caleb Williams. That's just something I didn't think Adam Peters would want to do. When you can just sit there and take Drake May and Jaden Daniels, and you still have a bunch of picks you can take. You can still get a talented quarterback at pick number 2. You're just not going to mortgage the future. I don't think the Bears want to trade back anyway. I think they just want to stay there and get Caleb Williams. I think it would be malpractice for them to trade back when you have a talented quarterback like Caleb Williams being available at pick 1. And you got Keenan Allen in the trade. Like, you just want to get the best quarterback you can get. That's the most important position in football. When you have an opportunity to get that guy, you don't trade back. That's just malpractice, in my opinion. So you stay pat at pick number 1, the pick that you stole from the Panthers, and you make that pick. All right, guys. That was the Commanders. Peace.